Hi there and welcome back to 355 Code. Today we'll be doing another Karel Program video explaining while loops and how to fill the entire board with balls. So if you're not familiar with the Karel Program, it is basically an interface that allows you to learn JavaScript in a fun and simple way, and it's very visual. So basically on the right here we have our interface, and on the left we have the area we'll be writing our code in. If you're not familiar with the program and you need to get this all started, then you can check out our video that explains how to set this up, either like I have it here in the browser or download the files to your computer, and then you'll be writing in the JavaScript file that you download. So if you've done all that, then let's get started. So first, a brief explanation about while loops. So in JavaScript, we have two main loops that usually come up. One is the for loop, which we already did a video about, and the other is a while loop. And the while loop is written as such. So we say while, and then we have parentheses, and in these parentheses, we're going to write a condition. Okay? And as long as that condition is true, whatever is written here inside will execute. Okay, so let's say if I say, 2 is equal to 2, okay, so that's true, then print console.log true, okay? So this would basically just print true an infinite amount of times, because 2 will always be equal to 2. So this is the kind of code that you want to be careful and not really run. Usually we'll put certain condition in here that we know will eventually be false, and that way the while loop will stop. For example, if I say, let's say I is bigger than 0, and then here I write I minus minus. Okay, that will make I lower each time that this runs. And up here I'll just say let I equal 3. Okay, so now this while loop should run 3 times. And now let's run the code. So I'm clicking, remember to run first in the solo learn, and then click the run button over here. And you see that true was printed 3 times. I don't know if you could see because it's a little dark, but it says there's a number 3 here because true was printed 3 times. Okay, so how can this help us fill the Karel board with balls? So basically, to fill the board, we're going to have Karel go straight until the end, and then turn around, and then go back. Okay, back and forth. And we could do this with a for loop that basically just says, 10 times move forward and put a ball, and then turn right, and then 10 times go back. But we could also use conditions, okay? Because basically we have these conditions here of is clear, right? Is front clear, and Karel that is facing. And that basically tells us, okay, is Karel, did Karel hit a wall? Okay. And we can use that to basically decide, okay, Karel has reached the end, let's turn around and go back. And we're going to do that using while loops. So in order to check if Karel is facing forward, okay, so I'm going to erase here everything that we have here in the while loop. And okay, so let's start off with our condition, and that is Karel is facing, Karel's front is clear. Okay, so front is clear means that there isn't a wall right in front of Karel, and that is going to be equal to true. Okay, and then what we need to do is make that the condition for our while loop. So we can write here Karel front is clear, and we can write here is equal to true, and there's also a shorter way that just writing, since this is a Boolean, Boolean means either true or false, we can just write it like this inside the while loop. And then this will come back true if it's true and false if it's false. And then we need to move, Carol.move. Okay, this means Carol will move forward 1. Okay, but we also need to update if Carol's front is still clear. Okay, because as Carol moves, that might not be true anymore. And in order to do that, we can say Carol's front is clear is equal to await. Okay, and this has to do with promises, which I explained in the video about the advanced Carol commands. So there's 2 ways to deal with promises. One is by using the then keyword, and the other is using await. And in this case, we're going to be using await because our run code function is asynchronous, so we can use this await keyword over here. And basically, the way to write it, okay, is explained over here. So we basically have a variable, and that is equal to await.carol carol.front is clear. So here I'm going to write Carol.front is clear. Okay, and so this should become false when Carol reaches this point. Okay, so let's try running our code. So first run in SoloLearn and then run here on the bottom. And we can see Carol keeps on moving, keeps on moving, keeps on moving, keeps on moving, and then stops at the end. Okay, because our while loop terminated. Okay. So let's think what we want to happen after Carol reaches this point. So after Carol reaches this point, we're going to want him to turn right and then right again. Okay, so we're going to have here Carol.turn right. And then we're going to have Carol.turn right. And then basically what we're going to do is run our while loop again. Okay, so we're going to say front is clear. Carol's front is clear is equal to true again. Okay, because we know that he turned around, so we should be good. And we run the code again. So I'm going to format this. And let's see what happens when we run the code now. So Carol moves forward until the end, and then turns right up, and turns right around. Okay, so that's not what was supposed to happen. And basically because I forgot to add a Carol.move here. Okay, so that Carol moves to the square below. And while we're at it, why don't we also add the put ball. So here, Carol dot put ball. And then Carol.move, and here we'll also have Carol.putBall, and then Carol will move again. So let's try this code one more time. And we can see Carol is putting down the balls. And our default color is red, but you can change the color if you want by adding another color in here. For example, if I write here blue, then this ball will be blue. You'll see that in a moment. Okay, so Carol turned around, then he's on his way back. And you can see that this is running a little slower because we have this whole await here. Basically, this front is clear method takes time. And that's why we have to wait for it. And that's why Carol kind of slows down a little bit. So basically, you see that we got Carol to go forward and then turn right twice and go back. Also here we can add the Carol.putBall method so that we have put balls also down on the way back as well. And then what we need to do here is we have to have Carol turn left and then put a ball and then turn left again and keep on going back the other way. So that's basically like what we did here. Okay, but just instead of turn right, we're going to want to have turn left here. And then we are going to run our while loop again. Okay, so let's see what happens if I run the code now. Okay. So you can see that we missed a ball over here, and that's okay. We can deal with that by just putting a ball over here right before Karel moves again. So let's say put ball over here, and we can put another ball over here. And that's really the beauty of having this visualization, is that it really helps you understand what your code is doing, and understand how debugging works and how to spot errors and deal with them. And so now that we got him to go all the way to the end on the right and all the way to the end on the left, we pretty much can just repeat this over and over again until Karel fills up the board. And in order to simplify this a little bit, we can refactor our code. And let's do that. To do that, we're going to create some functions. Okay. So first of all, let's say that this while loop. Okay. I'm going to write the functions up here. So function. Okay. Let's call this draw line with balls. Okay, it's important to call the function something that, it explains what it does. So that's what's happening here in this while loop. Okay, and let's format that code. And basically, what you can see here is that we have a function, and now instead of writing this each time, I can just call this function. Okay, so I'm going to put the function here, I'm going to put the function here again, and I'm going to put this function here again. Okay, and now we can see that this is something that we're going to be repeating, and this is something that we're going to be repeating. So let's create some functions for them as well. So let's say function turn around right, and that's going to be this. Okay, and let's format. And don't forget to add the function back in where we just took the code out of. So it's going to be right here. And then this, okay, we're going to create a similar function. And let's just call it turn around, and this is going to be left. Okay, and this is going to be our code over here. Okay, and that was over here. Okay, so this is going to be turn around left. Okay, great. And then we just need to repeat this over and over and over again. So let's see. So we have turn around right. That's going to be over here. And then we are going to have this again. Sorry, start from over here. So we're going to have this again, and again, and again. Okay. And what I'm going to do also is I'm going to speed up our code. So I'm going to make it very fast. Okay, that way things will move a little faster. Whoops, that needs to stay. And the way you can change the speed is like you see I'm doing here. You just change the option and you uncomment it. Okay, and I'm going to run the code here. Okay, so The problem is that we have await here inside the function, and this, in order for this await to work, it needs to be an async function. Okay, just like this function was an async function. And now let's try running that code again. Okay. Whoops. So that did not work very well. And that can really have to do with this whole problem with the while loop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first, let's see if that had to do with me changing the speed. So I'm going to change this back to regular, and I am going to run the code again. No. Okay, so that is not what happened. So I think the problem is that we see that these parts of the code is working, the turnaround right and the turnaround left, but the draw line with balls is not working. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out of the function. Okay, and we're just going to use this as it is. Okay, one more attempt to debug this. So what I'm going to do here is add a parameter of Karel's front is clear. Okay, and we're going to add that in whenever we call the function. So let's try it over here. Whoops. Okay, so I'm going to move this down over here, just for visual. It doesn't change anything in the code. But here I'm going to say Karel's front is clear. Okay, and now let's just run the code one more time and see if that fixed our problem. Okay, so it did not. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this as I planned from the function itself. And I'm going to just use the while loop as it is. Okay, just to simplify things and save us some time debugging. So basically, instead of this, we need to have our while loop and here as well. And let's just run that again and make sure that everything is working. And it's working again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed up our Karel again. Okay, and while we're at it, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to do another level of refactoring. Refactoring means basically writing the code again so that it is cleaner and shorter. Okay, so what we see here is we're basically doing these two things over and over and over again. Okay, and because that's happening, we can basically use a for loop. Okay, so I can write for, okay, so we're going to need to do this 5 times, right, because we have 10 rows total, and each one of these is 1 row. So let I equal 5, okay, and as long as I is larger than 0, I minus minus, okay, and inside this loop, I'm going to put all of this code, okay, and here, I'm just going to add one more time, Karel's front is clear is equal to true, okay, even though we set it once over here again, because this code is going to be running over and over again, we're going to need to change that over here as well. Okay, and here I'm going to erase all of this code because this code is now redundant. Okay, so let's refactor that and clean up our code a little bit. add some semicolons, and okay, let's give it a try. So I'm running it up here, and I turned our speed on to very fast, and let's run the code. Okay, so you see, as I explained, it's basically just running these lines again and again and again and again. Okay? And if we wanted to make this code even one more level efficient, okay, because we're basically using this while loop twice, okay? But let's try and think of a way that we can use this while loop only once. Okay, so if you want to take on that challenge, you can pause the video and try it yourself. And when you come back, I will show you the answer. Okay, welcome back. And here I'm going to show you how we can get rid of this while loop as well. So I'm going to start by taking off this while loop. And I'm going to be telling this to run 10 times instead of 5. Okay, so now we have taken away one of the while loops, but we have the turn around right and turn around left. And basically each time that one of these for loops runs, we're going to want to decide if we want to turn right and we want to turn left. And the way we can do that is by using the direction that Karel is facing, because when Karel reaches the end here, he will be facing east. Okay, east is this way, and when he reaches the other side, it'll be facing west. So we can use an if statement, okay, and say if, and here we're going to use the other advanced command, which is facing. Okay, so we want to check if await, right, because this is an advanced command. And we're going to say is facing, Karel dot is facing. And then we're going to check if he's facing east. Okay, so if Karel's facing east, then this will be true. Okay, and then we should turn right. Turn around right. Okay, and else, okay, we are going to turn around left. Okay, and let's format this document, and I'm going to run the code, and let's see what happens. Okay, good. Karel turned around right, and Karel turned around left. Okay, so now Karel will end up filling up the entire box with balls, and all we needed to write was maybe 20, 30 lines of code instead of, I don't know, 200 lines of code if we would have written this all out 10 times. And since some of this code here is repeated as well, like turn right and then put ball, turn right, put ball, we might even be able to refactor this code even more. But this was the main thing that I wanted to show you how to do, using a for loop, using a while loop, and an if statement to basically make Karel fill up this entire board. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Congratulations if you stuck through it, if you tried to do the stuff yourself. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll be having more tutorials like these. And I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.